And we're live. Good morning, everyone. Welcome, track fans. Welcome to the Sunday Slotcast sessions. Yes, you're here with me and my co-host Rahul from Conquest Racing Club. Conquest. So there you have it. Welcome aboard, Rahul. How you doing?
It's a big intro, Pete. Big intro.
That's
Hopefully, I
it.
can live up to it.
That's it. Energy, NRG on a Sunday morning or
Well,
Saturday
it's
night where
Saturday
you
night
are.
for me, man. It's
Come on.
2:30 in the morning right now.
2:30 in the morning, mate. That is serious. Thank you ever so much for coming on at like the Twilight Zone.
No, today is important. We got something important to discuss, so we got to
We
talk
do.
about it. That's
We
right.
do. And we'll lead into it nicely so we don't scare the bejesus out of everyone.
That's right.
Exactly. Right then. So already, right, the chat is on fire. I looked at the analytics for last week. I don't know why I did it specifically because I was slipping last week and I couldn't keep up with you ledges hammering the chats and the comments. Out of the sort of on average 40 people in the room last Sunday, there was 525 comments.
Yep.
In a couple of hours. It was motivating. It was brilliant. So we've got a great show today, absolutely spot on. And got a big hats off to Rahul here because I did my usual slides. Rahul saw it being a marketing pro, jazzed it all up. I mean, it looks literally like Hollywood and it's too big for this welfare software. So, I feel so bad.
No, nothing.
But we'll get on. Should we say hello to some guys in the chat?
The chat's busy. We gotta say hello to the guys.
Yeah, cool. We'll take one one at a time. Go on, lead the charge, Rahul.
Well, we got the fingers in the house as per usual. The fingers. Thank you for being here once again.
Yeah, he's been ill.
Yeah.
But he's a great commentator.
Yeah, he's strong. He always comes back. So
yeah,
we're glad to have you here, the fingers. Thanks a lot, man.
Morning, Deleon. Good morning, mate. Great show on the Electric Dreams, by the way. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah, Deleon has really been pumping out the good content. Great stuff.
Exactly. Who else we got? We got Rob Sale. Good morning, Rob. How am ya? He's I tell you, he does some good shorts, you know. Is he on your radar?
Oh yeah. All these guys are like pretty much everyone in the chat. You know what? Something I have to say about this community is it doesn't matter what hour in the morning or what time, guys are always there to support us, and I think it's huge as a YouTuber, as a content creator, just to have that support. So a lot of these guys not only they watch you, Pete, but they watch me on a Monday night doing stupid stuff with other guys. But whatever. It's been great. The community has been great in helping us stay on point. And
yeah, indeed. You do a weekly live show, don't you, Rahul? When is it and what time?
It's Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern.
Midnight here.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I'm on at 2:30 in the morning, so I don't know.
I know. So I'm going to come on your show on Monday, aren't we? We're going to do a second leg of our content today.
That's
not
right.
The same,
Part 2.
But similar.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So we've got young Cameron in the house. Cameron is codename Simon Fairbanks in the chat. Or is that Simon? But I think it might be Cameron going by the "I'm back" comment. I love it. Pink hand back at you, Rob. Oh, look. Hang on. Who else have we got in here? Ken is in the house. I should be putting these on the screen. Forgive me. Yeah, it's only about my 900th live stream. So, good morning. Hang on. Don't work with animals or kids, ever. Otherwise, he would keep scratching at the door, distracting me. I'm hearing, "Let me in, Dad." Who else have we got? So we got Ken in the house. We got Dave Slotar. Oh,
Yeah,
Dave.
you were immortalized today by Dave.
Yeah, I know. Did you watch that last night?
Oh, I have to watch. Dave's one of those channels when he puts out a video, I have to watch it right away because he's smooth talking and his general like natural ability to put kids together and make them look awesome. It's just something that you got to watch. So he did it again, and not only that, he had captured you in all your essence. But I asked him to become your video and production guy because that's that would be really good for me, I think. So I asked him whether the job is open, but he hasn't responded.
Okay, maybe we can get some response this morning. Dave, wake up! Come on. What I was going to say about Dave is he passed comment on how messy my space was. So I've cleaned that stuff up. Look at it. Look at this, Dave. You've mess shamed me on telly. So now it's had an effect and I've tidied up. Trust me, this is tidy. Used to be a hand grenade site, but so many projects on the go all the time. So awesome.
I like that little display you got with the mugs up there, Pete.
Yeah,
Very
so these are
professional.
very important to me. So we've got the NSCC, the National Scalextric Collectors Club. We've got Darren Hall's mug, Daz Hall's mug, which will come on to Daz a bit later. Cheers, Daz. And then we've got Mag Fans, Magnetic Racing, sorted me out a cup at the Gaydon Slot Car Festival. And that's why it's there and not being used, because I have a habit of breaking stuff, like accidentally, get excited and there it goes. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, Daz is in the house. There he is. Yep. Hey, Delion, the video was good. And it was nice to see you interacting with other YouTubers as well, getting some airtime in there. We had obviously Trav, we had Sasha and Dave, or Dave as we call him now. I don't know if he's going to be on because it's like, I'll tell you what I've done, Raul, because I'm quite considerate, believe it or not. I've set up my world clock in my phone. So I know that it's 1:40 in Houston where Dave and Sasha are, 2:41 where you are. So what I do is I wait until it's about 3 a.m. and then I text everyone.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. It's there so I don't wake you guys up because you know what I'm like. I get excitable.
Yeah.
Yes, I have, Dave.
Dave wants me as his crew. I don't know. We're gonna have to have a fight, Pete versus Dave. Figure it out.
That's all right. We'll have a job share. Like you do car shares. We'll have a job share.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You're gonna have? I don't know. We'll work on the logistics of that later. Well, just having a quick shoot down. Good morning, Mac is in the house. So, rule, right? So I open my merch shop, which is somewhere up there. And I'm sitting there at 11 o'clock one night, a Saturday night. Hey, there it is.
Don't forget the legendary stuff, man. Like, don't forget our stuff. We've been releasing a shirt every week. It's good. Legendary series.
I do like your stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Helps if you can graphic design though, right?
Always. Yeah. Well, so I actually contracted one thing that I like to do, Pete, and when I set up my print shop, the goal was to promote local artists in the community. So I actually have a local artist that actually does every drawing. So all this is original art. Yeah, we find the cars and we find them in the angles we want, but it's actually converted by a local artist here, and I pay him every week for his work. This way we can get it's the arts are not something that people really spend a lot of money promoting, and something that I wanted to do when I set up my print shop was promote local art. So cool. Yeah, that's what we do.
Awesome. That's a pretty nice story. It's like a circular economy. As Trav would say, support the local.
That's right. Exactly.
That is it. But anyway, so Mac, I didn't know his name was Malcolm. So I'm sitting there at Saturday night, one night a couple of weeks ago, bing, you sold a t-shirt. I was like, what? I mean, it works. Who's this Malcolm character? And then on the next morning, I'm shouting out, yeah, shout out to Malcolm if you're watching. You never come on, but thank you. And then Mac pops up and goes, I'm Malcolm. I've only known him 2.5 years. I didn't know his name was Malcolm. Genius. So Tara, good morning. How you doing? This is a lady who can make me laugh in a heartbeat. I tell you, what a legend. And stay tuned, Rahul, because we've got a podcast coming up soon where I've actually had a good chat with Tara, and she's talked about what she uses to do these painting, how she does it. It is really insightful, and I've actually learned quite a bit. You know, I like make little notes now and again as we go along on these shows. Normally, that's my notes from a show. Hang on.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how useful Tara's show will be.
You better have a whole pad of sticky notes.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a good podcast coming through. That'll probably be out this week, I reckon.
Yeah.
Let's have a quick look. Some kudos for you here, Rahul. I've missed a couple of comments here. But anyway, John, nice to see you. Good morning. Yep, shout for the Duffingers there. Good morning, William. How you doing? Will at Buffalo. Is that NY for New York? I don't want to fall on my face. Morning, Mark. How you doing? Good on you. Welcome aboard. And Vernon is in. Morning, Simon. I think Simon's just woken up now, took his phone back off of Cameron. Good morning, Reese. How you doing? Oh, look, Nicky Boy's in the house. Hello, Nick. Good morning. So if you watched the WEC endurance race, the digital race a couple of weeks ago that I put out, Nick was the organizer. So he's the guy from Garage 27. He's in the house with us this morning. So it's either a race event or a car boot sale along, because he'd never be up this early on a Sunday. Good morning, DK Moon. How you doing? Good morning, Arnie. He's here from Beverly. Yeah, I see. Yeah. Is this, man, I'm miles away. Right. I'm just shooting to the end. So, Eagle Eyes Dave, Rahul. He's been looking in the background at this. Go on, out. Right. You know, live telly and everything. The dog is out and he's not coming back in. If he starts scratching at the door, I'm going to make a phone call to the bread knife. That's wife for anyone who doesn't live in England. Here it is. This is a beautiful, beautiful piece of kit. And Dave has spotted this. This isn't my Revo slot, which is why I'm holding it with two hands. It is just a beautiful, beautiful piece of kit. And what I did on my Wired on Wednesday members live stream is I tuned this up. So, Rob, I know you're watching this. Now, I don't want you to panic over what I'm about to tell you. But I took this car up to Rockingham Slot Car Club on Friday because what I found is it feels very tight on your back wheels. So your back wheels here feel quite tight indeed. And it doesn't feel right. So the wheels are as tight as they can be, which isn't what you want it to be. You want a slightest bit of give that you can't see, but you can feel side to side. And so even as tight as it can be, Rob, it's still rubbing on the inside of the wheel arch here. It's rubbing on there. Not so much on this side, but on this side it is. So what happens is when you floor it down the straight, when you brake, it pulls to the right a bit as you're pulling because it's rubbing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call you later and ask for your permission just to tune a canva on the edge of the wheel. Put the light on it. Do it on this side. Just on this side of the wheel, I want to just create a bevel, a slightest bevel, just to take it off the rim and see if that gets you a bit of performance. But what that means is I'm going to have to set up my polycar track to test it. So if that's all right, Rob, I'll chat to you about it off screen a bit later, but that's where it's up to. So Dave Slotar, nicely cued in. Thank you, mate. You brought that up nicely so I could address that. If you want to see this getting tuned, Wired on Wednesdays is your show. Hi, Bo. How you doing? And Pat is in the house. Right. So just before we get into the show, now we've caught up and said hello to everyone. What I do want to do, Rahul, which is very important to me, and I know that you support this as well, is give a shout out to the younger members, the younger track fans, Albert and Wilf. How you doing, boys? I saw him yesterday. Took him over the park on my electric scooter. Man, we terrorized that place. It was good fun. So we got Sasha. Morning, Sasha. How you doing? Great content. Great video the other day as well. Looked like you had good fun bringing back another suitcase of stuff. Well done. Got Lewis and Elliot Richards. How you doing, guys? Got Ruben. Ruben, we're going to see you in a bit, mate. Cameron, he's been on holiday, Rahul. Cameron's been away having fun somewhere in the sun, unless he went to a staycation. We got young George, competition winner last week. He didn't send us a picture yet, Lionel. Lionel, if you're watching this back, because I haven't seen you in yet, Lionel, competition winner, come on. Good morning to you. Good morning, Jacob. He's a top racer. You saw Jacob. He's already making cars, scratch build. If you saw the WEC race, you see his Lola. That was a nice. He's built that himself. Components, everything. The guy's 10. The guy is going places. And then he's up on the podium with us like 900-year-olds, giving us a good seeing to on the digital track. I was like, yes, Jacob, get in there, because in about 2 years, you're going to be taking all the silverware home. Morning, Isabella Layton. Good morning, Charlie. How you doing? I haven't forgotten about you. He lives in Kettering, in case you're wondering which Charlie it is. And finally, Eddie, well done. That's a round up there. Perfect. Yeah, these track fans, I tell you, Rahul, they are the future. So some of them are literally soldering their own cars together. You know, they haven't taken an exam yet in school, and they're already proficient in slot car. Fantastic. So I can tell you how that festival was, Bo. So Dave Slotar had a couple of weeks off, and he went to the festival last week. And albeit it hasn't told me exactly what it was like in as many words in our messaging, I know what that was like. But I'm not going to tell you. Nah. No, let's put it this way. I know some of the bands that were playing there, Osric Tentacles in particular. Oh, that was going to be a session. The boys are in the house. What can you say? It is Ian. I'm going to go with this is Ian, because Doug comes on, Doug Magnetic Racing. Morning, Ian. How you doing? Anyway, let us begin the show. So here we go. We've pulled out a few slides. We're going to have a chat through it. Usual stuff that we've seen. I had a couple of late entries this morning. So when we get to the track, Rahul, if you can remind me that we've had a couple of extra entries so I don't miss them. I shouldn't do. But you know how excited this can get in this sessions.
Yeah, I know.
Brilliant. Love it. Just before we start up, if you're just tuning in now, you are joining Rahul from Conquest Racing Club and myself, Pete Brown, from Track Fans TV. We're bringing you Sunday slot car sessions. The time is 5 to 8 on a God-given Sunday morning or Saturday night if you're over the pond, or tea time if you're in Australia. What up, Dick? What up, Pat? So here we go. Anyway, let's get rid of Ian's comment. before that changes to something Ian. Yeah, hang on. Before we even start, Primal Scream. Oh, love that. Do you know these bands, Rahul?
No, I don't.
No, I didn't think. I just wanted to ask because I know you say something like Primal Scream, which are absolutely banging and huge here in the UK from back in the day, and people in America are like, huh, or Canada are like, huh, and we're the same. Like you watch Extreme Makeover Home Edition, you know, with Ty Pennington, and they get like some mega country star to come and open the house, and you're like, who is it? And they're like triple platinum or something.
Yeah.
Levelers and Primal Scream, quite a contrast in bands, I must admit, but both epic. So then, first off, we had a competition last week. We had mega competitions the last 2 weeks on the row. The first one 2 weeks ago was we had a bit of a letdown on technology. My technology not taking the box of names to the race event to do the show, to do the competition. So we did a merch competition so that you could win a new t-shirt to celebrate the opening of the merch store. And who won it? Ruben! Yes, good morning, Ruben. I don't even know if Andy and Ruben are here. I can't remember. Yes, they are, because I said we'll see you later. Ruben in the house. Look at that. So I'm so gutted that we're not using
a good-looking shirt.
It is. And he suits it. He was working that shirt. Here we go. This is what we're talking about, Rahul. So Slotar's, oh my God, he's been to all 20 festivals. That's why you look like you do, Dave. So I stopped going to festivals about 17 years ago, precisely when the kids arrived. And so I've got some skin in the game.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. And yeah, while you're at it, Dave, Pat checked out the build. Really cool, mate. If anyone's not seen Slotar's video on the Track Fans Tower build from yesterday, really good. Really good indeed. And that's the sort of banter we get over here in England. So whereas Dave can call me out as being an atrociously messy and untidy, not disorganized, but messy and untidy guy, that's okay with me because it's just banter. I expect that. So if I say that to people in turn, it's just banter, guys. All right. I don't actually mean it. So some people, Rahul, have been a bit sensitive lately. But, you know, it is just banter, guys. Hey, another competition winner, Paul. And what I like about Paul is he not only did he win the competition fair and square, but he's a big Mini fan, a big, huge Mini fan. And he won the Mini. You couldn't write up a story on that. Slot Car 2021 is his handle on YouTube. He has started to hit record this year, and I'm so proud of him for it. He's a good pal and a great dad. You know, this is when you know when someone's a great parent, because they put that before YouTubing, they put that before anything else, and he does that in abundance. But now he's got the time, school and everything's in order. He started to make content again, Rahul. And his content's good. He's doing a mix. He's doing podcasts. He's doing videos. He's doing some other stuff. He's going to do his lads. He's even got his lad involved. It's a bit like a DNA setup, a dad and daughter. This is a dad and son coming through until his son rejects him and starts his own channel and goes viral. No, I'm joking, Paul. You've got this. So Paul's won the Mini. What do you think about the Mr. Bean car, Rahul?
Well, Pete, I'm not a big movie fan, kind of movie car fan, but I understand its relevance in this industry because a lot of us connect with those cars because, you know, it's a piece of history. So the Mr. Bean car is part of history. If I were to get one, I'll cherish it, but I wouldn't go out and buy one. It's just like the Mario Kart stuff. I don't buy that stuff. It's cool, but you know, it's really funny because if my daughter doesn't like that stuff, she's into the Porsche GT1 and she's into that kind of stuff. So
great parenting.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, I totally understand. I really want a Knight Rider car though. I saw that on DNA Slot Cars
Yeah,
video, and I saw Travis pull one out. And I love Kit. I grew up with Kit, so definitely maybe one of the movie cars I might pick up. But yeah,
it's a great car. It's a great car for many reasons, but the two that stand out for me in particular on the kit car, because we actually bought it when I did the Hornby show last year.
yeah,
It was on them.
right,
So I used it to buy the kit car, which is something like you. I wouldn't normally buy a film and TV car. So I thought, well, when in Rome, we are on TV, I'll get a TV car. The things I like about it in particular, it's got no spoiler and really, I can't remember if it's got wing mirrors, but if they are bolted on. So you can't destroy it. So me and Albert have so much fun with it. It's brilliant. But like you say, it's something you've got. That's what we're going to talk about in a bit, like different aspects of the hobby and stuff, right?
100%. Yeah,
So, right, let's just catch up with these guys here. Oh, here you go, Rahul.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So Hughes Garage. Have you watched Hughes Garage latest video with the Ferris
No, I
wheel?
haven't. I need to.
It's
I've got so
amazing.
much.
Like the paint job on it is just amazing. Yeah, you got to catch up with that because like Hughes, I think he's the up and comer. Like the Slot R to me is a really big up and comer in the YouTube.
He's a great breakout. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he broke out, and I think Hughes is going to be the next breakout for sure. His content is really fun and exciting, and his build on the Ferris wheel and his application of the Ferris wheel on the track. I'm going to steal it because I just like the fact that the Ferris wheel goes over the track. So
Yeah.
I think it's just brilliant. And he's inspired me to do something similar on mine. So yeah.
Cool. I'll be checking that out later. Shout out to Hughes Garage. All right, let's just have a quick catch up, so don't mind.
No worries.
Yes, Dave, a roller coaster. That's normally like my track layout.
Yeah. Well, I'm building a Lego roller coaster from my Lego city, the middle of the Lego city. So
Are you?
yeah.
I can't wait. I tell you what, this for anyone who's not in tune with Rahul here, our co-host, Rahul does a couple of shows like within the channel, but a couple of shows, and I think they're really good. And one in particular, tracks, tech, and toys. That's for me. I mean, I like them all, and I know that you have no problem with me saying this, but that one is my favorite out of the shows that you do, because I just learned so much in such a short space of time. It's almost like you capture what I want to know about or learn about, and then you deliver it. Same with Marty is literally one step ahead of my mindset at the moment with what he's doing, and you're the same with the track, tech, and toys. So if it's okay in a moment, like when we come on to our topic, we talk about how you program and prepare, how you do what you do. But what's the track, tech, and toys thing for you? Do you have fun making that?
So honestly, Pete, so when I started, and this goes back to the topic we're going to talk about today, when I started a year ago on YouTube, I didn't know I was going to do slot cars, right? It was something that I did, but I didn't know I was going to turn it into a channel. And so people like I joined the content creator community, and I had a variety of different interests, as you know, I still do.
Yeah.
And then the lady that was running the creators community, she said, you have to pick only one. You have to pick one topic and you have to work on it. And for some reason, at that point, I was really into high speed motion photography, right?
Yes.
So I wanted to capture cars in motion, and
Super
slot
slow
cars are
mo.
not slow motion, but just capture them in photography. So
It's really hard.
moving cars with blurry backgrounds, and if you notice, every car I shot in that first year had a blurry background and was caught at speed. So when she asked me at that moment in time,
Yeah.
it wasn't that I love slot cars. It was just in that moment in time when she asked me, they were my point of interest because
Yeah.
there was
You
such.
just took a delivery from Carrera and went, oh, it's slot cars then.
Yeah, so what happened was there was a challenge to capture in photography. So I said to her, I'm going to build a slot car channel, but I'm going to do it different because I didn't know anyone in the community. I didn't know anything about slot cars. I'm not a racer. I knew them from my youth, but and I had a bunch of cars. Like I had over 40 cars because I love to collect cars. But at that moment in time, it wasn't because I was big into slot cars or I had like But at that, it was just about capturing high speed motion, and for that reason, I chose slot cars. So my first year, I shot all these videos, and if you ask me, um, my first year in YouTube was just capturing cars. It was unboxing cars straight out of the box, not really learning about tuning or anything, just putting
Yeah,
them on the track. So this year when I started my live streams, I had a lot of negativity. Like there were some people that really liked my stuff, some people that just didn't like my stuff. Some people brought up the fact that I shouldn't be doing even unboxings because I know nothing about cars or whatever, and I had to deal with
they
that
didn't need me
negativity.
yet, did they?
But yeah, so you deal with that, and it took me. I had to take a step back and really understand what am I doing here. What is
Yeah,
this channel about? Because at that moment in time, I really didn't know. I was just going with the flow, right? I got a new car, unboxed it, presented it. But then when you become when you get ingrained in the community, you become responsible because more people are relying on you to provide content that is meaningful. And I have to commend the reason why this track tech and toys comes out is because of what Slaughter said to me. So it
is
comes
it
down to
clean?
Dave.
Is it clean
Okay,
before you say it?
it's very clean. Nothing
Okay.
that
Whew.
Dave said to me the reason that he does his videos is so that he can go back in time when he's older and see everything that he did in his past, and it's like a vlog for him, right? It's like his memories. And I said to myself, well, why am I doing this? What do I really love about what I do? And it came down to these three things. I love building my track. I love tech. I love cameras. I have more camera gear than I have slot car gear. I have more invested in cameras than I have. And I just, it's just a joy for me. And then using that tech to capture cars was something that I really want to do. And then I'm in my process of collecting 1,000 cars. So that's why it's called Track Tech and Toys,
I'd
right?
hurry up because Sasha's going to give you a kicking on that one. The rate she's going.
Well, she asked me, she asked me, how many cars do you have? And I said, I had to give her the number. So yeah,
Yeah,
I understand, but it's fun. It's fun.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool. And are you buying? Are you going back, doing a back catalogue, or are you just buying forward as they come out, as it were?
I have a little bit of both. So with my Porsche collection, I go all the way back. I try and get as much as I can in under my Porsche collection.
Yeah,
But when it comes to everything else, I try and pick up. I only started collecting seriously last year.
yeah.
I'm at 497 cars right now. So
Wow,
yeah, we're collecting. We'll keep on going.
wow. Three more, and you got the monkey. Monkey is Cockney slang for 500. So if you say, "Have you got a monkey, mate?" It means you got
Well, I
500
just bought
quid.
3 cars, so I think I hit the 500 mark.
What?
So,
Boosh! Let's get some fun. I'd like
but they
fireworks on
haven't
this
arrived
buffet.
yet, so I only count them when they arrive. So they're in transit.
So, right, brilliant. Talking about cars, Daz Hall has been on a mission again. Check out Daz's new Porsche 962. Have you got this one, Roll?
I do.
Have you got the Mazda in the background?
I do.
Legend. See, now you can have a race.
Yeah, for
Fantastic.
sure.
Great purchase, Daz. Great purchase. That is having a couple of 962s.
So, Peter, I have a question for you. What's your favorite genre of racing? Like, what cars do you love to collect?
That's tricky because I'm really eclectic. It's like my music. It's like Dave at Slot R recently discovered. Now I'm known, as you can see in the background, for being a DJ and stuff. Like it's what I used to do for a living in my misspent 20s youth. And so I'm quite eclectic. However, and I'm the same with my cars. I'm a little bit like a magpie in the context that if it's shiny and looks kind of interesting, I really like it. Now, I've got to make a confession. If I had to split hairs, I'm really fascinated, and this surprises me because I thought I would be into like the Ford GT, GTE, that kind of real high power sort of car. But since I've been into scratch building, I'm falling more and more in love with these kind of older vintage style cars. And it's so unlike me. I mean, I'm not fighting it.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying the moment, but it's kind of really like, it tears me. I like those, and I really like hot rods. I've always liked hot rods because before my parents split up, I mean, it's an amicable I mean, I was with my dad yesterday, so it wasn't a bad breakup, but it was just they couldn't live with each other anymore. So it was for the good of the planet. But before he went, we used to listen to like his albums, and he'd have like Thin Lizzy, Deep Purple, ZZ Top, Hawkwind, Black Sabbath. They were bikers, so we just listened. We heard rock, which was why when I become a teenager and it was the raving sort of late 80s, early 90s, I was like, rave music, yes, this is for me. This is what my parents don't know about. So I have my own escapism. But from the upbringing, I always remember ZZ Top's cherry red hot rod, and I always loved it. And see the Legends recently, or the other year when they were released, I was like, oh yes. So now I've got two of them, as you know. Is a little bit of a thing going around. Rob over at Swift Slots, great YouTube channel. If you want to learn something about how to do something, Swift Slots and Dave R at Slot R, they're both engineeringly minded. So they can build things without instructions. They can take things apart, leave it for 2 days, and then put it back together without forgetting where everything goes. Anyway, he put out his Legends for a proxy competition that's going on in the future. It's going to be, I think it's, what was it? Six YouTubers, 3 countries, 6 tracks. It's going to be mental. So yeah, so you might see. I'm sure I've saw some Legends floating around on some of these YouTube channels recently. So yeah, so I've been right into the hot rod, and then of course getting to know George a bit better at Area 51. I'm kind of drawn into maybe having a go at making a brass chassis. Because he's really inspired me he's given me the sort of self-confidence watching what he's doing to think I can actually do that. It's not out of my sort of have a go set.
Yeah, I don't know if you know about Slot Avengers. Do you know about that, Pete?
Tell me more about Slot Avengers. I
So
sort of
Slot
know about Slot
Avengers,
Avengers.
yeah, Slot Avengers is something that we created. So it's the 7 YouTube channels that come together, and so George is a big part of that, and he's always on my live stream on Mondays. So actually, the live stream on Mondays is mostly about Slot Avengers now because we have Dave, Shotgun Dave from that's like an OG custom builder. You got
He's
MP.
so
You
good.
got
He keeps
50,
slipping up because he's like me.
yeah,
He doesn't know what you can and can't say nowadays.
yeah,
And he's like, oh, I can't say that. Oh, it makes
yeah,
me laugh so much.
yeah. So and that's what we're about. Like the Slot Avengers, our mission is to get everyone to come onto YouTube and show off their stuff, and we do it as a group. And that's really why the live streams were born, and that's what we'll continue to promote. And yeah, so George and I, we converse pretty much every week, every other day. We're on a chat, and Danny as well. Like it's great. Like I said, this community is really cool. If you put your heart out, you get a lot back. And they're always willing to share. And I don't know if you know this, but I painted my first Legends too.
Yes, you did. I was hoping you would lead into it. No, but
And
no,
a lot of that was with Shotgun Dave's. I've painted over 4,000, 5,000 mini figures, right? Because of Warhammer. And I've airbrushed so many of them, but for some reason I had a fear of white body kits because I've never painted something so smooth. Warhammer is not that smooth. It's got a lot of texture,
Yeah.
and you can actually play around with paint. But yeah, so it was interesting for me to paint a first white body kit ever. And it was pretty cool. And I'm kind of hooked now. I bought like 4 new white body kits because of it. So we'll see what happens.
Hello, hello, hello. It looks like someone else is on a legend mission.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So let's get back onto it. So if we just quick recap, we got Ruben. And just before I move on from Ruben, just to remind everybody that this young whippersnapper actually comes second in the whole of the UK Slot Car Festival drag racing competition. Out of the thousands of people that went and hit the trigger, this hot rod driver comes second. That's pretty special. Then you got Paul, who's into minis. He loves minis and HO and everything. You got Daz, who's a lover of Group C and pretty much everything else as well. But what does it lead into? All of the slides and everything that we've sort of talked about have something in common. And everyone in this room today, well, 36 of you, thank you for subscribing to Slot Car Sessions. If you are getting some value from what you're seeing with me and Rahul, do us a favor, smash the like button for us. That would be perfect. And that would make me happy. And in addition to slot cars, you can see different types of slot cars here. But what it does, and your slides are so good, by the way, Rahul. So we're going to have to sort of do something where we can like do something again with just under 50 meg. But what it does is, for me personally, I started this project just over 3 years ago as a way of communicating in lockdown with my nephew Albert, at the time age 6. And from there, actually, by doing the tracks, by doing the cars, by having good banter with my nephew, I actually found some comfort through doing slot cars. It kind of mellowed me out. As you all know what I'm like, I'm generally, believe it or not, tone it down for this show from what I'm normally like. God bless Miss Brown for putting up with me for 22 years. Because I am a nightmare. I'm so hyperactive. You cannot make a story up on it. But with the ups come the downs, right, Rahul?
100%.
So I have supersonic ups like now, and then about midday, I'll probably crash through the floor thinking, oh. So I think to myself, well, there's a number of things that you can do to alleviate feeling down or feeling bad or feeling sad, because different things are different, like triggers, I suppose. It's a bit like this terminology everyone keeps banging on about everywhere called mental health. I mean, I hear about it everywhere. I already know that I'm mental. I know that a lot of people around me are mental because they've told me. And I've noticed that as we get older in life and as medical profession advances, we're actually now finding out that we're not mad, that we're not insane, that these like low points that we have are actually normal in actually everyone. But for people that are really struggle with keeping a check on how they feel, or how they get through the day, well, we now have different ways of approaching it. I mean, you can go, if you're struggling, I'd advise you all day, every day, to go and see a doctor. That's critical. And if I can spend a moment, it's not so much slot cars, but from my own personal experience. And I'll talk about my wife for a rare moment on Track Fans TV. Because when we had our twins generally are premature. So our twins were 7 weeks premature. That's 2 months. So one of them weighed 2 pounds 11 and one weighed 4 pounds 2. So technically a bag of sugar. And they were in hospital for a month or so. But what happens when children are delivered early is it creates a chemical imbalance to hormones, to the body's system. And that therefore pulls away your ability to focus, control, rationalize, deal with the situation. And bless her, she really struggled. So we went to see the doctor and he put her on some medication. And unfortunately, the medication wasn't right. And she suffered for about 8 months. 8 months. It was very dark, very serious, and very nasty. So we took her to the doctor for a second opinion. And we saw a different doctor under, I insisted. Anyway, he gave us some new medication, ciatopram it's called, just in case anyone's wondering. Within 3 days, she was a different lady. And 98% back to where she was in 3 days. They say it takes about 3 weeks for drugs of this nature to kick in and get into the system, but 3 days she was back to almost how she should have been. So it's okay to not be okay. You've just got to get the tools and the help that you need. Now, we're a great community here, and it relieves and it lifts the lid and lets out the steam. So if you're feeling down and low, chat to someone about it, someone who you trust and you can feel confident in, So do that. First off, don't be stressed out. Life's too short to be, feeling like this. The second thing you could do is if you are still feeling like it's too much, it's very hard work. If you're still feeling like, today is grey, reach out to the doctor. They're used to this. Lockdown, COVID, knackered a whole generation of children. I've got two of them that were in exam periods in lockdown. One didn't do too well and the other did okay. And that as a root cause of being left alone at home for a year on your own, without tuition, without routine, without guidance, without support. Obviously, he got it from us, but without that daily routine of what to do and how to do it and giving yourself that chance of purpose, he didn't have it and he struggled. He's better now. We've got him some help. We've got him people to talk to. He's coming through it. But slot cars for me over the last 2 years, and the last year in particular, where my business has gone down the pan because of the energy crisis, not necessarily COVID, it's been very stressful. It's very stressful now because in about 6 weeks, I've got the mother of all bills to pay. So how do I deal with not letting that get under my skin and for me to be on top of my game so that I'm not, I don't push it onto my family or my friends. How do I stay like I am? And it's easy. Slot cars for me are literally a gin and tonic with a cherry in it. I don't know what that tastes like, but I suppose it's nice for someone. But for me, that's what I do. So Rahul, do you have a sort of personal experience, or do you have a situation where you might find yourself struggling in the day, and then how do you get out of it? Just before we talk about other facets, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so I've had a trouble life. It's stuff that maybe you could write a
Keep it
book
light.
about, I guess. But
Yeah,
um,
I know you've had a difficult time of it. So let's just viewers, Rahul has come through the mill, and what you're looking at today, he's doing well.
yeah, and I think um, if there's one thing that I'd say is like the first thing you have to understand is you need to understand yourself, because in today's society it's so easy to get caught up with who's doing what and what other people represent instead of learning about yourself. And I think that's the biggest thing that I had to learn over, and I didn't learn it till now, like a couple of
Is that
years
to
ago.
actually, like, in a non kind of vain way, but to love yourself for who you are?
Exactly. Like if you can't spend a day by yourself, and I couldn't. 2 years ago, I had so many phobias. I had phobias about being myself. I had phobias about being alone with myself or being destructive. To understanding that I have worth, you know. Um, and I think my main takeaway here is I have a mentor. I had to get a mentor 2 years ago that helped me walk through that on a weekly, monthly basis. Now it's monthly, but before it used to be weekly. But you're very right. You don't have all the answers, and it's very important for you to find someone that you can share these experiences with, who's equipped to help you deal with them. Um, because no matter how tough you are, no matter how strong you are, this can bring you down real fast.
That's right.
um and many people, it's funny because I got a comment the other day on one of my videos. um said And the
Keep it
gentleman
clean.
says, "You're so inspiring." No, I haven't, I never talk dirty. So he
It's
says to
banter.
him, he said in the comment, he said, "You're so inspiring but yet so intimidating." And for me, I was like, was really taken aback, because I was like, I don't see myself as intimidating. So I actually write, I took that comment and sent it to my mentor. I said, "I don't understand this, because I don't see myself as coming off as intimidating." And I said, "Could you kind of break it down for me? Am I doing something wrong?" Because the last thing I want to do is intimidate people, right? Like, and what she said was, it wasn't about intimidation. It was just that some people might find that I do so much and they can't keep up, and that might be intimidating to them, right? So, it's just what I call point of views, and something that I drill into my daughter is, and something that I think this is very strong in general is, um, always get different points of view to every situation.
That's right.
Your point of view can pigeonhole you, but if you have multiple point of views, like for instance stepping up and asking Slaughter, what keeps you motivated, what makes you make these kind of videos, and getting his point of view just changed my point of view about what I want to create for my YouTube channel. But it's because we have multiple point of views that makes us a better rounded person. And I think that's important. So my first goal is always, when you're dealing with something in terms of mental toughness, or you're finding it hard to get through stuff, first look inside, understand why do you feel this way, if the trigger points, and then
Yeah.
go outside and find someone that will help you work through those trigger points and get through it. And sometimes I'm the first one to say this. I think the answers don't lie within family. Most times, it lies with a professional person that can actually help you out here. But that's my 2 cents on that, Pete.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So, this is why we're doing this together, because we've established through being friends over this year that actually off screen we're quite similar. We have things to try and get through. Now, some people sort of let's sort of have a look at some comments just before we move on to how we can deal with the blue with the grey. So here we go. Daz Hall's throwing it in. Slot cars and coffee. So that's pretty cool. Do you want to take a comment, Rahul?
Sure, sure. Let's see here. Um, so Pat Baker's, yep, talking and chats help me. All you guys on the channel help me. So, one thing that I
Cheers, Pat.
say, this is super strong about this community and slot cars. So I come from a wargaming world. The community is a little bit more cutthroat. People don't really talk to each other that well.
It's like Wall
It's all
Street in
about.
modelling.
Exactly. It's very cutthroat. Like if you do competitive wargaming, especially Warhammer, it's a different world. Completely. So slot cars to me was like a breath of fresh air, and continues to be, because the community is more about a brotherhood. It's not, it's a very family kind of community. Everyone's like, when the fingers were sick, everyone was around to like, sending
Yeah,
well wishes to, and that's what's so powerful about this community. So I totally get what Pat Baker is saying here, because when I it's so funny. I've never met any of you in person. Like me and you, Pete, we've never met in person, but we know so much about each other in a very
yeah,
weird way, right? And same thing with me and Marty. I think Marty is like my first person I write to when I have a problem. Right? I'll type to Marty privately and say, Marty, I'm dealing with this. What would you do? Because Marty's point of view is so important to me. and it helps me kind of, and I think that's what Pat's getting at here is like you can just chat to anyone, and if you have a connection with them, they'll give you a different point of view. So
Yeah, precisely. I was just reading through some of them, and we said that Daz is doing coffee and slot cars. That's his tonic. Well, funnily enough, look what we have here. Here's Darren doing coffee. So well done, Daz. Love that. Let's have a look here. Bo is saying that it's often difficult because doctors do fully pump you full of drugs. Yeah, that is right. They can do that. Experienced that myself. Refused to take them. Had 7 minor strokes in 2018. My God, man, 20 minor strokes. Wow. And cannot take certain drugs. Therefore, well, God, mate, well done for being here. Rich from the Valleys, morning roll.
hey, Richard, how are you?
And Rob Sale. Let's just have a reminder. This is Rob Sale's Revo slot.
Yeah, I mean Travis is in the chat as well, and Travis actually opened this whole thing up for us, right? By being so brave and so bold on that the interview with Electric Dreams, right?
Yeah.
I think, and
Well done for Marco. Marco pushed him a bit on that. Travis was parking that question and going away from it, and Marco kept pulling him back. And I was thinking, in about 3 seconds, Travis is going to go, cut, drop it, cut. And but he didn't. He held it well. Well done, Travis.
Yeah. So I was watching something before tonight, Pete, because I wanted to be prepared, and it was about the strength of hobbies in mental mindset, right? And we all caught up with our day-to-day activities. We all have a very limited time. So to me, I always ask this question to my daughter. I say, what's the most valuable commodity in the world today? And the answer that we always say is time, because you can never make more time. You can never bring time back. You only have finite time. You have infinite gold if you found a gold mine, but time is, you can't mine more. And the one thing is, time can be the biggest handcuff to you finding yourself, because you get caught up with all your day to day, and if you don't take the time to actually work on yourself, and I think this is where like slot cars and hobbies come into play, is that hobby time that you spend is actually giving you that time to take a break and mentally relax, and kind of wash those day-to-day feelings away, right? And it helps you refocus for your day, and it stops, like you said, you don't transfer the the mental anguish onto your family, onto your loved ones, because you have that time to reset. So, and this was something that was made known. I don't know if you know this, but I work in the pharmaceutical industry. I am a director of the pharmaceutical industry, and we are working on um, new drug platforms to get away from opioids and benzodiazepines and all these very addictive drugs that people prescribe for social anxiety or whatever it is. And it's a big problem. And so I totally believe like we need to find better ways to deal with mental anxiety and everything that people are going through. And one of these really good things is hobbies. In a big way, the hobby has changed my life tremendously. Whether it's been in wargaming, or whether it's been cameras, or now in slot cars, and the communities that are surround them. There's so much to be learned just by going through life, by being associated with each other, that helps us get through all the tough spots. So something I was watching on CNN was how hobbies change people's life, and how important it is to have that release. And hobbies can be anything from walking outdoors to anything you want, but you need to have that mental break and time for yourself. So for us, it just happens to be slot cars, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's got to be that time as well when you're ready to chat. You've got to, your partner or your nearest and dearest is the classic. Your daughter, in your case, will all be like, "What's up, Dad?" And you're like, "Nothing, nothing." They can see it in your eyes. They can hear it in your vocal tones. So the best thing to do is just go, "Do you know what? That it's not working today," sort of thing, and get it on. Just one from Travis here. Yeah, exactly, Travis. I know, and we're ready when you're ready to hear about it. He's packing today, but with one thing that does that does encroach into people's mental state is monotony. And it's that whole kind of Groundhog Day. You're getting up, you're doing the same thing, you're getting up, you're having a coffee, you're going to work, you're grafting for the day, whatever you do, you come back, you get your dinner, then you're sort of like, oh, I've got about an hour left before I need to go to bed so I don't get late tomorrow. I've got an hour. I haven't got enough time to start magnetic racing building, or I haven't got enough time to do a new track layout. Or actually, I have got enough time to do a paint a figure, or I have got enough time to just blue tack the wires down on the wires inside that car I'm tuning up, So actually, I found the slot car hobby really, really good for keeping me occupied when I've got only different scales of time. Like you said, time is the commodity. Different levels of time available to me. I find that slot cars gives me something to do in every amount of time that I've got available, and I appreciate it, and there's so much more I've got to learn, so much more. And if you watch me doing Wide on Wednesdays, some tuning, I make some colossal mistakes, but but I'm learning while you guys are watching, and we're learning together. So I'll make the mistake and you go, that plant pot did that wrong on that episode, so I know what not to do next time, or he really taught me how to do that right. So I think, yeah, you're right. And De Fingers is still pushing tin, even at this late stage of the evening for him, saying that people don't talk. We are. I hate to say it, we are encouraging more ladies into the hobby, but my analytics, if you look at them, are 98% male watched. Is 98% men watching this, and men have a big issue in talking about how we're feeling because it's not deemed as masculine. Well, it wasn't from my generation as well. You pulled your socks up and bucked your ideas up and got on with it. There wasn't no such thing as actually your bad day is now 5 bad days, and that's a problem. Not a problem you can't fix, but a problem that wasn't recognized in an older generations. Someone else who's in the chat now has said that they'd had some real big issues about 3 or 4 years ago, full on meltdown. And this was their way of coming out of that and dealing with it. And they do many different things on the hobby as well. So I started the hobby as sort of doing track layouts for Albert. Then when COVID restrictions lifted, I stepped across the threshold of Rockingham Slot Car Club, and that's when it twigged for me. And it twigged because I had my Corvette NSR Corvette C7, and I drove it straight into the barrier and off the table, because it's such a beast of a car. And I thought at that point, I watched my 70-pound car flying onto the carpet going, right, I'm going to have to concentrate. And all the time I was concentrating on keeping that car on the track. Do you know what else I was concentrating on? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. And there's no phone signal in Rockingham Slot Car Club either. So you got no distractions from the outside world. It was like a switch going on in my head, thinking, actually, do you know what? I feel when I walked out of there, it took a couple of weeks to realize how it made me feel, that distraction for 2 hours. So now I get it. So now I come to the den, which, trade secret is my basement. And, it's a bit modest. If you watch Marty's basement, now that's a basement. So I come down to my old coal chute, and and there's no signal in here either. So that's why I use WhatsApp so much, because I can get messages down here. but otherwise I get no interruptions other than the dog scratching to get in. So I can come here and switch off, and I might work on something like this Holden. Look at this Holden from Australia. Pat, you know it, don't you, mate? Well done. Or I might work on a Revo slot and help another track fan out who's not developed the skills, or who doesn't want to break the £80 car, as he says, or £90. I'm not sure how much they are. I don't know why he sent it to me. So you got different things. As you'll hear in the podcast that I did with Tara in the week that I'll publish next week, it's very much a tonic for her painting, and it's a release, a relax. It's it's just right, you know.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make you rewind a little bit, Pete. Right,
Yeah,
like
okay.
so something that you talked about earlier was we get caught up with that day to day, and then at the end of the night we're like, okay, I got a little bit of time left, or what am I going to do with it? And so this is where I think a lot of us fail. I mean, you need to make time for yourself, and if the slot car hobby is giving you that release, then you need to organize yourself so that you can actually spend the time on it. This is something that my mentor said to me recently, was like, you cannot treat it just because your hobby, you cannot treat it as I'm going to fill the gap when I get to it. You need to actively organize yourself to be able to work on something to fill that gap.
Okay,
So
interesting.
this is what I'm trying to say, is like, this is why my bi-weekly episodes come out, because in those 2 weeks I set myself tasks
Big
to get
tasks.
that right. And they're big tasks, but they're not really that big. Like, I'm very, like, my table is huge. Like, it's a 28-foot by 12-foot table, right? It's not a small track.
What's that in meters?
Oh, I, like, I don't know, but we can
All
check.
right, it's 28 foot.
Yeah, it's huge, right? Like, the track's huge. But I work in sections, and it's hard. And I give myself tasks for those sections, but I don't make it smart goals. You understand smart goals, Pete? You know what
Sort of,
word?
but you
Yeah.
might want to just give us a skim over it just to
So
refresh.
specific, um so
Measured.
this measured, attainable,
Yeah.
um
Realistic.
realistic, and time sensitive, right?
Yeah.
So that's the whole thing. I create my smart goals for my hobby as well, just like I do for my work, just like
Yeah.
I do for my training, just like I do for everything else. I make sure that there's a smart goal for my hobby, and that's why I do those two. That's why the tech, toys, and track videos is so easy for me, because it just goes along with my smart goals. It lets me measure my smart goals on every week, in a 2 week period, right? And what happens was, when I go down to the basement, I already have a plan. I don't have to think about what am I going to do today. I'm going to pull out a kit. It's really cool because I organize myself on a Sunday, because Sunday is my slot card day. Like, Sunday is my hobby day. So I go down in my
Yeah.
basement, I pull out everything I need to do for the next 2 weeks, put a plan together. Sometimes I don't do
Okay.
any hobbying, but I'll plan it all out. So I know what I have to do. And then every day I spend an hour coming down to the basement doing that. Right. So that's my way of getting my time. And yeah, and I think that's very important for anyone who's struggling. And I'm not saying that this is the right solution for everyone, because everyone's very different, but for
Yeah.
myself, I found that I was able to get more in control. And YouTube is an evil master, right? Because we get sidetracked with analytics, and we get sidetracked with views, and we get sidetracked with subscribers, and it can be a cruel master to you, because some videos you
Nah,
put
just
out,
ignore
and
it.
right, but it's hard. It's easy
It
to say
is.
ignore it, but I know that you just
Yeah, no,
spout,
I had to look because of the comments
right?
last week. I couldn't keep up. That's why I used it. I was like, there
Yeah,
must be, it's either I'm getting old and losing it, or the chat was on fire. So I wanted to check it out. But
yeah,
as a barometer, I have an idea of what I kind of want to do in terms of content. and it's just like you just talked about there. It's the finding the time to achieve it. It normally takes longer than one session.
Yeah.
But the other important thing to think about what you're saying is with the planning and the allocation of self personal time is also to not overdo that time. Like Dave at Slot R here says in his comment, it doesn't allow you to concentrate too much. He's talking about doing laps because you concentrate about not ruining your car, and it gives you rest and a balance in the mind. But would you say that if you come down to do your hour, got sucked in, as we say, and then pop out 5 hours later in the middle of the night, you might be tired? Is that a good
Mm,
thing?
no, that means you're not disciplined enough.
Okay,
It's
cool.
very
Tell me
important.
more.
Like that's one thing that what happens is it causes a domino effect.
Yeah,
So, many people see me staying up late, and so I'll tell you why this is happening, because I have Mineras, and what happened with Mineras was I have a phobia for sleeping. I I'm scared of my bed. It's
really?
yeah, it's
Oh my
it's so
God, I've not
messed
heard of this
up.
before.
Yeah, it's so messed up because I'm afraid that every time I lie down, the world will start to spin. So, for a long time, my psyche wouldn't allow me to sleep. I had to fall asleep at my desk or fall asleep at other places where I didn't realize I was falling asleep. So,
Yeah,
because of that, I've learned how to stay up so long, and like the sleep doesn't affect me. But in reality is if you overindulge, it's like anything, right? You do it in moderation is good. If you overindulge, it becomes a problem. So if
yeah,
I'm going to spend 5 hours in my basement doing hobby stuff, and the next day I'm tired, then my work suffers, then my family time suffers, and my
yeah,
next hobby time suffers because I'm not motivated and I'm starting to lose grip, and it just compounds itself right over weeks.
yeah,
So it's very important to set an alarm for yourself in that time.
yeah,
So I work in spurts. Even when my work, I work in 45-minute spurts. I have an alarm that goes off every 45 minutes. My day is done 45 minutes at a time.
cool. And I suppose on that, if you finish on the 45 minutes or the hour or whatever your allocation is, uh, you're like itching. So it makes tomorrow like a look forward to as
Yeah,
well. You're like mentally, you're like, oh, come on, I just need to paint the helmet and I've finished the car, and it's
yeah,
like, don't get sucked in. Spend your time creating a look forward to. Yeah, I like that.
exactly. Yeah,
I like that. And Dick here over in Australia, he comes on every few weeks and gives us some scenery tutorial. So the last one he did, he showed us how to make killer bushes. I know. And he's found here that he's actually finding therapy from doing magnetic racing buildings, which you've built a few of in the last few weeks. So you know all about that.
only grandstand so far. Yeah, I got 8 grandstands completed.
Mate. Daz Hall built 2 of them, so he's feeling your pain.
Yeah. Yeah, but that was yeah. I think what happened was you just get in the groove. I was doing one every night and just finishing it because it took me an hour and a half to put a grandstand together. It was perfect hobby time. Just finish a grandstand, and then the next day you got the same grandstand and do it again.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So it became
Groundhog
easy.
Day.
Exactly.
No, that's
Right.
what we don't want to do.
But you know what? That's what I mean. It's like sometimes you just get down there, you put on some nice music that you really enjoy,
The
and you
levelers.
just go nuts. And when you're done, one thing I like is setting small goals that give you victories, right?
Yes, that's
Because
really
if you have
important.
small little victories, you feel
Very
motivated for the
important.
next day, and
Yeah,
they boost your endorphins and everything else, and you're a much positive person, right? So that's what I look for. Like I like these little small victories, right? Whether it's airbrushing a white body kit and messing around, or even a spoon. Like I mean, that's what I started with when I started my airbrushing on white body. I started with spoons
yeah,
because it was easy to get like playing around with my airbrushing, getting the tone and stuff. But that's it. It's just small little things. Just victories, small victories every day will help you get a positive mindset, because
Like doing a few
victories.
laps every day.
Exactly. Like, every day, if you say to yourself, I'm going to take one car out and do 5 laps a day and check my timing, and if you make that a routine, there you go. Right. It doesn't have to be building a kit. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. It just has to be something small that gets you through. Right.
Yeah.
And like you said here, like there's so many like one thing I didn't realize, Pete, when I started this hobby, was how deep it was. When you
Yeah, the
peel
rabbit
off,
hole.
yeah, when you peel this onion apart, it's like you can do,
Yes.
like, the reason I love my Monday night live streams is that everyone on that live stream brings a different thing to the table. We're all talking slot cars, but everyone there has a different facet, from painting to
Yeah.
tuning to scratch building to 3D printing. Everyone has something to bring to the table, right? So that's the beauty about this hobby. It's so deep, right?
Yeah, totally. Like Rob here does a few laps, like we just said, but the fingers, Pat, and Bo all agree with him. That's sort of similar to what they do. Whereas Bo uses a little bit. Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
So yeah, life. That's the biggest denominator. Travis here is touching in and picking up on what we were talking about in terms of programming and stuff. So for what I'm just going to go with an assumption here, Trav. Travis is we're quite similar, but we're actually making moves into becoming a bit like you, Rahul, in regards to having a plan. It's like we'll make content because we see something. It's like bang, content, or that's content, or this is and it's like where is the kind of progression? Where is the organization? The wood rooted track was really good because it's given me an order of things that I have to achieve before I can have to do the greenery, before I can paint the road. Then I have to paint the road before I can do the copper tape, and I have to do the copper tape before I can put the track in position. So it's given me a program of things that I need to do in an order. And I think that's what Travis means here. And I get this because I know him quite well, is we are quite bullet shot. So what I might do, Rahul, is talk to you more in depth in the future. And anyone who wants to talk to Rahul or talk to myself, we're very, very open in terms of chatting to people about what we do, how we do it, helping people out. It gives us a release to help people out. It is quite endearing. So keep that up, Rahul. But that's what we need to find out a bit more about, is programming.
Yeah. I think, you say, um, I don't see myself as being a leader in this at all. I just think, like, in
No, of course
general,
not.
like it's
Yeah, Rahul's the resident expert.
you know, no,
Oh,
no. I think I've learned from everyone else around me.
still learning.
I tell you, like, Slot R has, in his own weird way, he has taught me so much about how to become a better slot car hobbyist. I'll be honest, or actually a slot car YouTuber, because I was it amazed me how fast he grew, right? And I'm always fascinated by, what's the difference? How is he doing it
Hmm.
different? And it really came down to how he approaches it from a mindset perspective, that I think that really, like, motivated me to change my way of doing things. But I'm still in the process of learning, Pete. So, I'll learn from you. You learn from me. We'll explore this thing together, because I don't know yet. But I'm glad to have found, like, this community, to be honest. And I think that's the motivating factor for me to get better, and be a better person in life in general, is because I want to be a better person in this community. To be fair.
Yeah, exactly. And in talking about communities, I mean, it is quite cool to see some of these comments, because there's quite a pattern emerging, is that everyone actually here has their own space. So we've got Rich Shed, we've got Rob Loft, we've got the Fingers large workroom, we've got Pat, he's got his garage, You got me, I've got my den down the road. So lots of people got lots of ways of doing things. Now, that not being said, you might be a young track fan who hasn't got a lot of money and are really just cottoned on to slot cars. They might have seen it down a shopping mall or somewhere like that, thinking about it, want to do some research, watch some slot cars because they haven't got a track yet. They want to maybe do some research on what type of track to get or what cars they're into. You asked me what cars I'm into earlier. Now, I find is that it's good to switch off and have a break. What I'd highly recommend is if you are feeling low and you are feeling like it's a bit difficult, is that half an hour before you go to bed, turn all your screens off, your phone, your smartwatch, your telly, your whatever it is, just turn it off and do something by audio, do something by reading, or do something by just not a digital screen. It's called a digital sunset. I swear to God, you will sleep like you've never slept before, but it will just slow your mind down and unwind it a little bit. However, before you do that, it's imperative to understand that there are other slot car channels out there that you can go and you can find and you can get lots of different things from, from podcasts on Electric Dreams to global road trips on Slot Car Guy to building towers and things without instructions on Slot R to incredible short videos from Rob Sale, dad and daughter combos from DNA. There's lots of stuff going on in this list. These are only the ones we could fit on. I could probably give you 3 of these pages off the top of my head right now of different content creators and slot car fans. Would you agree with a digital sunset in regards to switching down?
Yeah, 100%. But it's harder said than done. I'm
It's
very
really
guilty of
hard.
not being able to do it. Uh,
I don't do it.
so yeah, it's like I said, it's a love to have, but I don't really have it yet. So
Yeah,
but one thing that I want to talk about, and this is good because as of last week, we changed the Monday night. We used to pick a topic a week, Pete,
yeah,
for our Monday nights, and I changed that as of last Monday, and now
I
we
saw
do.
it.
Everybody chooses a video of the week from the Slot Avengers, and we talk about it, and we choose Slot Car Channel of the week as well. I think that's more in line with what we are about as a core group. Our promotion was to get people forward and get them to start expressing themselves online, and so our live streams now have become more about, like how Travis does his news every week and Dave Kennedy does news every week.
Yeah.
With all the new stuff, we're going to bring you what's happening in the YouTube world every week, because I think it's important to, and some of these channels are so hidden, but they're
Oh,
such
yeah.
masterful gems.
Yes.
Like my pick from Monday, I'm not gonna spoil it
Cuberts.
today, is just unbelievable. And like I was like, it's crazy. And then sometimes it's not even the slot community. Sometimes you get inspiration from other communities as well. Like I have a lot of painting channels that I follow that are not slot related, but can be easily adapted, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we talked a lot about this topic, and I know we're going to do a part 2 on Monday with the other guys, because we're going to get Marty and George and everyone involved as well, because I think it's important to get points of view. And we both said we'll continue this topic then. So yeah, it was good introduction, and I think there's so many things that we can do as a community to make each other stronger by talking about it more. That I'm totally with you, Pete, to spearhead this forward and see what we can do with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well done, Day Day. Day Day's sort of let us know how he's finding things, and actually, slot cars are a tonic for him and art. So maybe get into spraying up some slot cars, combine the two. So good. I'm glad we covered some of this topic. It's not something that's going to go away in a hurry, is it? It's here for the future. I find that social media is a big creator of, a point of view of struggle. So for anyone who's watching this back, wherever you are in the world, you've got two guys here who, you know, will talk to you. But moving swiftly on, we have next section of the show, Rahul. We do tracks in. Let's get rid of this comment. We do tracks of the week, or tracks and cars of the week. So before I forget, I've remembered about Daz Hall. Daz Hall's creating a new layout. Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
How much do you want to see it?
I love seeing new layout.
Spilled some excitement here, God damn it. Look at this. Daz is going for it. Look at the size of that straight on the far left to the top of the screen and bang, straight across to the right. Actually, it's going the wrong way. So go the other way. But that is looking good, Daz. Got a pit lane in there. Crossovers. What do you reckon,
Very
Rahul?
nice. I like it. It's a quick track, technical infield, but yeah, super fast. Looks good.
That is fast. And then I saw this. So I do normally do some scenery.
Boone. I love
yeah.
Boone. Boone's crazy.
Yeah.
Did you see the weathering on this thing? Like if you go in, like I blow up. I zoomed in and I look at all the weathering points. Yeah, I look at the weathering on it. Like that, all that, you know, that's all hand brushed in weathering. And he doesn't even use weathering powders, I think.
No,
he actually does this with paint. So it's phenomenal.
And then a final, this one was really cool, just to show. If you're not tuned into Boone's Slot Car Garage, Boone's Garage, do that, because this guy does some epic videos, epically long, but epically good videos. And you just, yeah. So I wanted to give him a shout out on this week's show.
Well, the attention to detail is what Boone is all about, right? Like the realism that he brings to his builds. Yeah, it's just like attention to detail. Like the one way he took the 512, the Ferrari, and weathered it. That was like out of this world too, right? Looked like the real car at the end. So I love Boone's attention to detail. It's like, and I'm part of Boone's Patreon channel, and he does a lot behind the scenes as well for there. So if you really like his stuff, I highly recommend becoming a patron and getting into the back end stuff of what Boone does. And he does actually hold Zoom classes for us on the back end, and we work on a project together and stuff. So he's phenomenal. Boone's like one of the people that got me into building my new track layout and all the scenery and everything. So yeah, love Boone.
And it is like it's a knock-on effect, because, and I know he won't mind me saying this, so you've been inspired by Boone, as too have I. And I do know that Slot Car Wildman has been inspired by you.
Yeah.
The terraforming and that he's doing on his track and stuff. So I love his channel as well. He's just heart on his sleeve, say as it is kind of guy. No, there's no frills with the Wildman. Yeah,
he's real. Like you know, and that's what we want. We want people to bring real, like what they feel to the
be yourself.
Be yourself. Exactly, 100%.
Yeah, I think so. Dick, he's definitely got his own style, Boone.
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Now we need to switch the slideshow because we hit the 50 meg mark. Cars! Look at this. It's the Areca, the Mini Nemo.
Yeah.
Are you a Le Mans kind of racer?
I am. So I have the same slotted Porsche with the green and white and red like this. I don't know if you need that version. I don't have this one, but if I get my hands on it, yeah, for sure.
I like this because they had the prototype at the Le Mans race back in April. So I got to see this actually racing as a prototype. And now to see it in production is really nice. It looks slightly different from the prototype, just marginally different. I don't know whether that's because they had to go to production with it. But this is exciting for me.
Yeah, it's a really nice livery.
And because I've got in a similar kind of vein, hold on, in a similar kind of vein, I've got the Audi, which was sent to me by David Walls.
Is that the? Oh, that's not the Porsche, right? It's not the Porsche 963. Is that?
No, this is an Audi R18.
Oh, nice.
I only know that because I read it on the back.
Yeah.
That's how it looks. So anyway, white kits ahoy. More spraying coming in. Let's get back to it. And then Dan's track. Dan's one of the members and regular track fan, great guy. He's changed his mind. We put out a track review for him last week or the week before, I can't remember, but he's changed it all around again. I quite like this.
Yeah, once again, that loop, big outside loop, and then you got all the technical infield. It's seems to be a common thread now. I've been seeing more and more tracks where they have a big outside loop and then more of an intricate in the inner. It's because it lets you build up a lot of speed on the outside, and then you get, I think a lot of us like to have the cars at speed at certain points. That's why it is.
It's that's the bit that gets me hooked every time, and the thing that causes me the most problems when I'm racing is that speed aspect. I want a 200-meter length just so I can floor it and just get it out of my system. I just love hitting the full-on throttle and seeing how rapid the cars are. They're like next level nowadays, these cars.
Yeah. That's why I have my layout. My front straight is 18 straights long on the Carrera track. So it's 18 straights before you get into the two corners. So it's a long
I'll be there
front
by
straight.
Thursday. We'll have a race.
For sure. No problems.
Don't threaten me. I've got your address.
It's all good.
Stranger things have happened, Rahul.
I have a guest room waiting for you, Pete, anytime you want.
Excellent. So Daz, I've just sorry, I keep WhatsApp open in the corner because sometimes if the audio goes or the stream fails, people tell me, because otherwise I'll just keep chatting. I don't know, just chatting at my screen. But Daz has mentioned that he's enjoyed today's topic that we talked about. It's touched his life a little bit on and off reading the text. So he's really quite happy that we've covered this. So thanks for that, Daz. I appreciate that it's resonated with you. And Jeff agrees with us.
Yeah, well, it's a big topic. We're just scratching the surface. But
But as if the secret of success from a sales guy is getting started.
That's right.
If you don't start, you don't hit record, you don't talk, you don't move, you don't buy that slot it or that slot car, you ain't get started. So you've got to get in the game. So baby steps, walk in, run in, then take the steps. And that's what we're talking about. That's what Rahul and I are talking about here, is if you want a hand figuring out that step, that's what we'll help you do. We'll put the rudder on the bottom of the rung on the bottom of the ladder and help you onto it. So that's not bad. Straight 4 meters, 12 foot, Rahul. That's not bad at all.
Good. Yeah.
Pat is 3-lane, 4 meter by 2 meter oval routed track. He's making one. Oh, I've got a video coming out. In fact, do you know what? I'm going to launch it today. Why not? 4 o'clock, everyone, UK time. We're going to have a Track Fans video. Pat, you need to watch this video. This one's for you, mate. Shall I spoil it? No, I won't. You have to tune in. 4 o'clock. Video's going out today. Hang on. I'm writing it down. 4 p.m. You saw it here first. We decided. It's been ready. I've just been debating. I keep thinking when to do it and I keep forgetting about it. So I'm going to launch it today at 4. Sunday afternoon viewing. It's 12 minutes long, so it's not going to get you in hag by the missus by being distracted. And it will help you, Pat, on your build. Cheers, the fingers. The fingers is heads up with the comment, with the topic, sorry. Bit of love for Daz's traits. Rob's got 10 foot, but a way to make it bigger. Rob, you need to talk to the neighbour. See if you can hire their attic space, knock a hole through the wall, and then use both attics.
Yeah, I already did that. Put mine through the wall.
Yeah.
So, do that too.
I love it. I was talking to, who was I talking to? My brother-in-law the other day about a wood realty track. We were, I don't know what you call it when you sort of come up with ideas that you just know are totally ridiculous. Is it imagine using your imagination? Is that the terminology? We're coming up with some ideas that were just totally outlandish. One of them, though, is within reach. So I'm thinking I might do that as well. I can't tell you what it is. Really appreciate it, Rob. Thank you ever so much, my friend. Oh, I've lost my track of thought here. Okay, so we were talking about other things to follow and watch earlier. Obviously, I watch Instagram a little bit and stuff because Instagram's a great way of communicating people on direct message, because YouTube doesn't give you a direct message, does it? So half of us do YouTube and Insta. So we instantly go to Insta for direct messaging, because if you go Facebook, well, you need a degree in IT to be able to figure out where to get your message. And half of you write to me in my Pete Brown profile, and the other half of you write to me in my Track Fans profile. So I have no idea where it is. So I use Insta because it's easier. So anyway, I was on Insta and had a message from Titus Hill Raceway. And I checked out his stuff, mate. And I believe you know this guy, Rahul. How do you know him?
Yeah, well, I don't know if you guys know this, but I've actually developed about 30 logos for up and coming YouTubers, and this is one of my logos right here. And I actually brought him on my live show before he began his Instagram journey. We had a chat, and like his mandate is not to promote to slot car enthusiasts, but to promote to the general public who doesn't know about slot cars. So he's trying to make it as exciting for them as as an outsider looking in. So yeah, he's done a phenomenal job. He hand builds all his scenery, all his terrain, and he's phenomenal.
Yeah, really good. And his shorts, his reels, get the platform right.
Yeah.
His reels, I've watched them, and a lot of us, we do maybe between 15, 30 seconds, thinking anything over 30 seconds, you're just going to be swipe, swipe, swipe. He does them for about a minute, and the minute is gone before you know it, and you're rewatching it, going, what, did I just see that right? He spends a lot of time, if you put these things together, he spends a lot of time narrating his reels. And I just wanted to give him a shout out if he watches it, because it's not gone without recognition. We really appreciate what you do on your Instagram reels. Talking of Instagram, do you have an Instagram role?
I do.
Is it Conquest Racing Club?
Yep.
And mine's Track Fans TV, Dick. He'd asked the question. Yeah, so big shout out there for Titus. And then in terms of projects, so obviously we've got about 10 million projects going on. Quick shout out. What's your projects for today, everyone? What are you working on today? And actually today and tomorrow, because it's a bank holiday here in the UK, Rahul.
Nice.
Yeah, we've got a day off tomorrow. I get laying.
Yeah, our long weekend is the next weekend.
Is it?
Yeah.
Sound. So when I come over on Thursday, as we just discussed, we'll get an extra day of weekend.
100%. But then next weekend's my daughter's birthday, so I might be busy too.
I'll miss it then. I'll leave it for now. You never get that time back, as you well know. So projects for me, I'll lead the charge, and then we'll hear what you're doing, Rahul, and then we'll see what these guys are up to in the comments for their projects today. So today for me, that is a good question. I am going to spoil it. I'm going to build my polycar track, the one that everyone's been waiting for. Oh, I cannot wait. Do you want a quick reminder on what it looks like?
Why not?
Okay. Now I've got to remember where I actually put it. I sent it to someone recently. Who did I send it to? This is classic television, isn't it?
Well,
I know how to do it. Oh, I know who I've done it. Who I sent it to. It's fine. I sent it to Dave, Dithy, Sasha, DNA.
yeah.
So being a pro, I'm going to make sure I get this right. So what are you doing today while I try and sort my life out, Raul?
Well,
Or what are you doing when you get
mean,
up out of bed?
well, I have to get up for the F1 race at 9 a.m. So that's first. And then today, so I was thinking about doing long exposure photography today with light streaks.
Long exposure.
Yeah, so I can get the light streaks. Yeah. I'm trying to shoot cars with long exposures. I have to do that,
I
and
love
I'm
that
shooting a
photography.
special commercial for my M&M VW. So like how I did
Yes.
the Legends car. I remember how I did that video for the Legends car.
Yeah.
I'm doing something similar for my VW. So except I'm playing around with a lot of M&Ms today. So it should be fun.
I love long aperture photography. I can even remember my first experience with it was in the early 80s. Remember Ghostbusters, where they shut down
Yeah.
the storage container and they all explode out of the roof. And then it
Yeah.
shows the city in long aperture and all of the ghosts everywhere. That was my first. And I thought, wow, it's like a laser show, like in the city.
Yeah.
And you see it every now and again. And then my dad come over and did that for me like a couple of years ago. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So what am I doing today? Polycar track. You're doing when you get up watching the F1. I would imagine there's a few others on that mission today as well.
Yeah, I'm a big F1 nut, so yeah. Travis for sure will be watching it too. So
Here we go then. Right. So in the comments, they are up to stuff today. So what I like about our group, we don't hang around. There's never a dull moment in our group. So we got Mag Racing Build. Tell us what Mag Racing building you're building on. Yeah, let us know, because we're all building something to do with magnetic racing at the moment.
Slot says today's the Legend, tomorrow probably chip my new Reaver Slot Escort.
Awesome. The fingers on barriers and lighting. Go for it, Roll.
Well, I'm just reading. Like Jeff G is putting 2 containers down, 16 by 40 feet, to create his track. So he's building, I guess, a shed out of shipping containers. I've thought about that too on my end here, but pretty cool.
Wow. How big's your gaff? Incredible. Tara's in the house. Morning, Tara. Again, she is painting figures. I'm so tempted to start talking about some of the stuff that we talked about on the podcast, but I'm not going to. What she does in terms of volume, awesome. Tune in and find that out. Let's have a look. Mike, thank you very much, my friend. Welcome back. Welcome back indeed. How long has it been since you had a break? I mean, for me, it was probably 40 years. I'm 46 now. I think I had my last slot car set when I was about 6 or 7. It was very interesting to hear. Was his name Michael on your live stream last week, Raul, from New York, the scratch builder? Right. It was really interesting because he had a very, very similar experience to me at a young age in regards to when them braids or bushes, as he called them, run out. That was the end of his slot car experience. And I had exactly the same reason. When they run out, I had no one in my life around me who knew how to do it or replace them or even know what they were. So that was the end of it for me. and then lockdown happened and I got back into it. So Mike, when did you get back into it? And tell us while you're on it, what style of racing you're into, if you're, or what you like about the hobby. Is it racing? Is it collecting? Is it building magnetic racing? So fantastic. Welcome back, mate, by the way. And we've just hit you up with a few more YouTube channels to check out a moment ago. So if you just joined us on the Sunday slot car sessions, tune back a bit and you'll see some other places to watch. So we got Jeff. Jeff's on some grading. It sounds like he's a teacher, maybe.
Yeah. Well, and we got the response about that mag building is the container build.
Where are we at?
For Garen. You asked him what building he was going to build. He says,
oh, sorry. Yes, Dick.
Yeah.
This is Dick. What are you doing talking about this, Dick? You told me that this would be a secret, and here you are talking about it. At least you know I can keep a secret.
There you go.
Hang on, where's that image that you sent me of this? I totally ruin it for you now. No, I'm joking. I'm joking, Dick. I'm joking. Terry, good morning, mate. How you doing? 5 hot rod projects. You sound like George now, or Harry over at HRW, sorry, Home Racing World. Filler to go off. Yeah, cool. Mark's off to see a old guys footy match and then Grand Prix. You know what I like about old guys footy match? It's hilarious. It's just like you all got stitch after 3 minutes. Brilliant. So yeah, that is all good. Where else are we up to? So what else I like to do in other news is this opens up the floor to everyone in the chat, everyone in who's a guest or myself, just to bring in something else. What else have you found quite interesting this week? And then while that sort of populates through the chat, oh yeah, and while we're talking about the other news, guys, if you're fresh and new into the stream, we are very widespread age oriented. So in other news, please keep it clean.
Yeah.
Just you know, we have banter, but we keep a cap on the banter because kids are in the program. I know. I believe your daughter watches these back as well, doesn't she, Rahul?
Yeah, she's got her own YouTube channel. So,
do we want to promote that?
I don't know. I'll leave that to her. It's
All
her
right. Well, look, if
like she's an artist and she does her own art, so it's not really slot car related at all.
No, that's fine because Tara's in here who loves art. I love art. If you ask her, and then if she's comfortable with it and would like, you know, we'll gladly talk about it. As in, like, give her a shout out. That's no problem, mate.
If you go to my YouTube channel, at the very bottom, you'll see all 6 channels that belong like that we have.
Oh,
and
cool.
Her channel is part of it. It's Art Rando. That's her tag. And she's just 12-year-old expressing herself through digital art. So
fantastic, mate. Yeah. Hats off to her.
Yeah.
Hats off. Well done. If you're watching this back, Rahul Junior S, hats off to you. Fair play. So I like to bring attention to Slot Car Magazine because if you're in your digital sunset, i.e. you're having your half an hour before bed, if you can do it, fair play. If you can't do it, some people just can't do it. My wife can't do it. Rahul, you said you can't do it. I struggle to do it, in honesty. I'm getting better. But I'll read Slot Car Magazine, or I'll read, see, I'm still doing the hobby, even in digital sunset. I'll read my NSCC journal, or I'll just, I know this is going to sound terribly grown up, but I have in the last few years got into gardening. So I'll go and cut something, like chop something off something, because I find that really therapeutic. But that's going to be gone to the dogs soon because the lights are drawing in. The nights are getting darker earlier. So come 10 o'clock, it's started to see what I'm chopping off. Might miss a finger.
Yeah.
We touched on obviously promotional stuff, NSCC, National Scalextric Collectors Club. They just great bunch of guys. Great bunch of
Hey,
guys.
Slotcar Farn is in your chat.
Yes, Hubert, how you doing, mate? Good morning. Guten Tag, wie geht's? That's how are you? Good day, and how are you in German for those who don't speak the lingo?
Yeah, awesome channel. I love his track.
Yeah,
His
yeah,
track is a lot of fun,
yeah.
especially those little hanging signs that you can clip with your cars. I love that stuff.
And he's got the
So
pit guys out as well in the middle of the track,
yeah,
which I find really very brave, but really cool as well.
yeah,
And so with Hubert, just the thing with Hubert, he does a lot of Google translation. So if you leave him a comment, try and write it in, well, I nearly said the Queen's English then, but we should say the King's English now. God rest her soul, Queen Elizabeth. So yeah, try and make it as much as it can be in King's English as you can for Hubert. Don't use the word in it. That's not a word. It's isn't it? I can see Slotar rolling around now, laughing. In it, bread bin. So, do you have any kind of, like off-screen publications, journals that you might tuck into, Rahul? Have you found anywhere?
so
See, so
well,
you're getting value from finding these.
yeah. Well, I have a lot of other hobbies. So, one thing that I'm really into is cameras. So I'm always digging through camera stuff. So and lighting and mics and everything else. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's
No.
my life. My life is all tech. Like I love it. I live and breathe it. Like I told you, slot car is just a byproduct of what I can do with a camera. That's it.
Yeah. What I was going to say, with the cameras,
Yes.
um, you must bet. I remember when I bought mine. It was about 2 years ago. It was about a year into the channel. I thought, I'm enjoying this, and I want to develop it more because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good creating a video and seeing the outcome and thinking, yeah, I did that and I can affect in it. And it's so I like to do. I used to do a lot of music production back in the DJing days, and it's very similar. And I realized the connection between how it made me feel. But it took me, and we both found Think Media probably through researching
Yeah.
cameras. Think Media, hilarious channel, love it. How do you pick a camera? How do you pick a camera in this day and age? Because it took me, and the only reason I bought mine, sorry to just finish this up of it. The only reason I bought mine was because it had extra stability built into it. I've got the A6400 Sony, same as Marty's got, I found out when he mentioned it. And it has the extra stabilization as well as the ability to do 4K recording, which is obviously going to be the future. How do you pick a camera? Is it dependent on what you want to do, or how do you do that for anyone's thinking about this?
So I think the first thing is just budget. Like, just be very true to your budget and then work from there. Because I have cameras that are 30 like $20,000 all the way down to $100. So
Yeah,
I have all the cameras, and um, you know, I just pick cameras because like I tried to experiment with different cameras. So when I first got started, obviously I didn't have the budget for the bigger cameras and stuff, and I was just learning. Mind you, just remember I in November 2019 I didn't know the front end to the back end of the camera, right? I picked up my first camera for Christmas that year, and then I started my journey. It was an M50. I still have it. Um, and I still love it, and I still do all my macro shots that you see on my website, all
yeah,
done with the M50 because I love the macro lens on it. But I think for myself, because I'm just tech savvy, especially now with all the AI stuff that's
tech
coming out.
addict.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
The AI stuff, like I've been picking up a lot of cameras which have AI inbuilt technology in them. that I'm just testing out. I just got a brand new 360-degree camera, just so that I can track cars without having to focus in on them and then reframe the shots after.
Yeah,
So, like all these little gimmicks that I like to just test and play with. But at the end of the day, it's whatever is convenient for you. You know, if your phone is your best camera because it's convenient for you, that's it. Just use it.
yeah.
Right?
So
There's nothing that says that you can't produce. Um, and anybody who knows will tell you content speaks more volumes than the equipment that you have. So
correct,
yeah,
absolutely spot on. Would you? And the nice thing is now, it's like the camera that I use that you're watching me on now, the A6400 by Sony, is probably what, maybe 4 years old now, about 4 years old possibly. So if you're, if you're looking to upgrade from iPhones or from iPad and you want to develop it a bit more, you can probably get one of these a good deal. So for anyone thinking about upgrading or getting into content creation and worried about costs, like you just said, Rahul, is you can pick something up for $100 or £100 and create something special. You can just pick up your phone. The tech in these is incredible, isn't it?
yeah, 100%.
Nowadays. So
But in my last video, I did actually give away that the one camera that I think every slot car YouTuber should get is the ZV-1, the Sony ZV-1. I think it's 1,000 Canadian dollars, right? It's
yeah,
expensive, but that is your. I think that's the best camera out there. It's a small camera, could fit in your pocket. It's got ND filters built in. It's got no lenses. It's a point and click, but it gives you wide range. It's got it's got high frame rate, so you can shoot 40 times slower. And that's how I do all my slow motion with the ZV-1. And
awesome.
it beats out a $20,000 camera that I have, where I have to use post production to slow it down. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's a Sony, isn't it?
Yep, I'm a Sony shooter, so everything I own is
Okay.
Sony. So.
Brilliant. Do us a favor, all type that into the comments for us, the make of that camera, so people who are tuning in can, if they didn't catch it, they can have a look into that, and mainly for me as well. So we got Slot R has been looking at the used market, and there is a used camera market out there, which you can get it full HD. Yeah, let me let you into a secret here as well, everyone, is that you can buy a camera that does 4K, like the one I'm talking to you on, but you are actually watching at the moment in 720. And the reason being is that StreamYard, the software that I use, it has a 1080p, a high res option, but you have to pay more money than I'm already paying to be able to unlock that. And I think I look fine. Well,
Yeah,
the picture quality, not me personally, but the picture quality looks great. So yeah, you can do 4K for your videos, but on streaming, it's
I'll give
not.
you a secret. I shoot everything in 1080.
There you go. And
I
this
don't
is a
even
guy
use
who does
4K
it
at
for a living.
all,
Yeah,
because a 1080 with YouTube's compression settings, like 1080 gives you the results you need, and nobody could tell you a difference, right? I'm not playing it on a 4K TV, or I'm not playing it on something. It's a YouTube video, and YouTube compression algorithm will downsample anyway. So I shoot every in 1080, unless I'm doing corporate work, and then I shoot it in 4K. But at that point, you're not doing ultra slow motion and all of that. So yeah.
no. And as an actual scientific biological fact, your eyes can't see 4K. They
Yeah.
can just see below 2K in clarity, and then anything over is just purely for enlargement purposes. So if you want to zoom in on something, that's when that extra detail, like if you ever work with media, the press, send us high res, and you send them like a 5,000 big, whatever it's called, image, and they're like, no, we want it higher. And you're like, what? Just took me 2 days to compress and send that to you by email.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
brilliant. So, okay, right. So we almost what I like to do, Raoul, is put in a few minute warning to wrap up the show. Just so that we don't go, right, yeah, see you later, douche, and then hang it up. And everyone's like, what? I hadn't said goodbye to Pat or Dick or Daz or Dave or whoever. So give ourselves 5 more minutes and then we're going to be out of here. I tell you what, though, Rahul, this has been a great chat. And do you know how I know it's been a great chat? Because I haven't had to put in an interval break to go to the lavatory once, and it's 2 hours. Normally I'm reaching at about an hour and 15. I'm like, my age is kicking in. So
yeah, no, it was fun.
No, thank you ever so much for joining me and co-hosting on the show today. It has been good fun.
No, we have great conversation, Pete. It's not really. It's so easy to converse, so it's fun.
Totally, and we're doing it again, aren't we? In a couple of days. No, tomorrow.
Monday.
Yeah.
For you, it's yeah, I guess it's tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. But you'll be joined with Marty, and you get more points of view. Marty, George, Shotgun Dave, Danny. The Slot Avengers have a lot to say about this.
Are they all on? Are they all going to be on?
Yep. I think it's the biggest live stream I've had is with 6 people on, so it should be fun.
So if you recognize these guys from YouTube, these are the guys that are going to be on the stream.
That's one sheet. We have 2 sheets now, Pete. Come on.
Okay.
There you go.
Who said I wasn't organized? Slotar. Who's that? I mean, but yeah, here you go. So that's the other. We've got.
And we have Slot God Dude as well from Austria, who's part of Slot Avengers. Slot God Dude, he's not on here, unfortunately. Those sticker sheets.
I know Nico.
Yeah, those sticker sheets came out before he became part of Slot Avengers. But yeah,
there you go. So, but yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. And you guys cover, just because a lot of us might not catch it on the first time round, and if people aren't aware of your show, you talk about all sorts of things, which I really appreciate. So when I came on your show the last time, was it what's in your slot pit box? What's in your racing pit box? I think it was when I came on, when I was on holiday. But it's good now. Tomorrow, I'm not on holiday with the wife sleeping less than 4 foot away from me through a wafer-thin wall. I'm going to be in my basement where I can be animated again. It's going to be good fun tomorrow night.
Yeah, it will be a lot of fun. Lots of people that will, and we have fun because we're also going to pick videos that have inspired us for the week as well. So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting to talk things through. So it'll be a lot of fun.
Yes, David, it is wrong. We all remember it for the wrong reasons, the Wenger bus. Thank you, Darren. I really appreciate that, mate. Here, Dick, would you mind if I read out your message that you just sent me here on whatever social media this is? Yeah, 2 lines, Dick. 2 lines. So 4 o'clock, remember, we've got video coming out, Track Fans TV. Tomorrow night at midnight, UK time, GMT, or 7 p.m. Eastern, we've got Roll's live stream, Slot Avengers.
That's right.
Then Wednesday, if you're a member, we've got Wired on Wednesday live stream. We're going to have a couple of new shots in there in the week by Travis, no doubt. Got 2 lines on Tuesday. We've got George on Area 51, pops up whenever. We've got so much going on. I literally could be here for 5 years reading them all out.
Yeah.
So
isn't that cool, though? I mean, think about it, Pete. How long ago was it when you couldn't even mention a couple? Like, it's been crazy, right? The growth in YouTube has been phenomenal.
Yeah, there was only Boone, really, when I come on, that I found was credible anyway. There was only Boone, like, that I learned something from. Now, it's on fire, mate. I can't, honestly, I wake up every morning and it's like, I'm like, yes, working is so much better now because I've got so much to have in the background. I haven't got to find stuff. It's coming to me. Content. Keep it coming, everyone. I dare you. No, really good. Thanks, everyone. So, Rahul, shall we wrap it up?
I think so. It's 4:38 in the morning here. I'm going to call it.
4:30, mate. And you got to be up at 9 for the F1.
That's right. So,
man, thank you very much.
Awesome.
I really appreciate it. Big hand for Rahul. Thank you for coming in, mate.
No
Top
problem,
man.
brother.
Top man.
I had fun.
Track fans, whatever you're up to in the world today, tomorrow, we'll be on Rahul's live stream or for the next week. Have a good one. All right, track fans. Right, I'm going to sign off. I always do this. I say goodbye, and then I realise I've got nowhere near the end broadcast button. So there's that little faltery bit at the end where I go, So that's it. Stay in the room, Rahul. I'll see you later, everyone. Have a good day.